Hi, third grade families. So we have the Math EOG coming up. And one of the things that the students have practiced in preparation for the EOG is how to make their own multiplication chart. Because we talk about doing, it's called a brain dump when before you start the test. So it's like a lot of times when kids get ready to start the test, like they have all this information in their head. And it's like you want to get that information out on paper somehow before you start the test. So that way it's there. And then you like can kind of free your mind up to really think about the problems that are being asked instead of like stressing about knowing multiplication division facts because there are a lot. There will be a lot of multiplication and division on the EOG test. So we practice this a lot. I'm just going to show you how I work on just creating a multiplication chart. So, what I like to do, and the kids have practiced this as well, is I start with an X in the top left, and then I write the numbers 1 through 10 and 1 through 10 down the side. So I'm going to show that over here 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to make you watch me do the whole thing. So I am going to pause this, and you'll see me in just a moment. Okay, I'm back. So you have your numbers, and if you have, if they're able to use a highlighter, you can highlight the first, like the first row in the column, so you know that those are like the main facts. Those are going to be the factors that you're looking at. Okay, so now we practice using multiplication chart. It's where you have like the numbers come together. So really what you're doing, you're actually going to be writing those same numbers again. But let me just show you how that works. So when you use a multiplication chart, you take this number times this number to get this answer. So 1 times 1 is, you guessed it, 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. And keep going all the way. And then same thing down here. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. So technically, you're really writing the numbers across again. So again, you don't need to watch me do that. I'll pause it. I'll see you in a minute. All right, I'm back. So now it's time. Now it's where skip counting really comes into play. And the students can think about what the easiest is to skip count by. Usually it's going to be 2s, 5s, and 10s. They can start with what they want. Let's say I want to start with 10. So I would skip down here by 10s. So you have 10, 20, oops, that's 20, 30, 40, all the way down to 100. And then you do the same thing across. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way to 100. Okay, so once you have that, I'm going to pause it again. Again, see you in just a moment. And from here, you can see that you only have to do the 100 twice because 10 times 10 this way. And it's like when the more you do this, the less numbers you're going to actually have to fill in. So maybe then you want to go by 5s, also pretty easy. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, all the way down to 50. This one I will keep up so I can show you what to do for the across. 30, 35, 40, 45, and then 50. And if you check yourself, you can even check the patterns, which is something we talked a lot about. Like in the ones place, it should alternate 5, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0, like that. You can also then do the 5s across. And if you have it correct, then by the time you get to 25, that 25 should already be there. Look at that. It's almost like magic. It's very much like a crossword puzzle. 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and here is 50. So we're starting to fill the chart in to make it pretty easy to do. So now going across, you already have some numbers filled in. 2s are pretty easy to go by or to count by. Let's do 2s. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. If you did it correctly, 10 is already there. 12, 14, 16, 18, and then 20. Same thing if you go down and you can see how the chart is really getting filled in. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Let me move this down. 16, 18, and 20. So as you keep going through, the more you do, like the more you fill in across, you're actually going to have less that you need to do. Here is where I really like to fill in some of the ones that I like for sure know, because that way when I get to that number, I'm like, oh, okay, like yeah, I made sure I did that correctly. Like, and we can use some of the tricks, like 8 times 8. I ate an 8 and fell on the floor. 8 times 8 is 6. Or sorry, I ate an 8, got sick on the floor. 8 times 8 is 64. So if you want to go to 8 times 8, there's 8 down to 8. 8 times 8 is, I think we're, I'm sure I'm in the right one. This row, yep, in the 40 rows, 64. So that way, when I get to that spot, I'm like, oh, I want to make sure that I have that one absolutely correct. Or if there's other ones that you know for sure, like 7 times 7 is 49. Like if any facts that you're like, oh, I definitely know that one, put it in there. Like I'm going to put 49 in here. You can then keep going with any of your tricks. If you know any like of songs or any patterns like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 3, 6, well, I almost put the wrong one in, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, and you're done. Okay, so you can see the chart is almost completely filled in. From here, I'm going to show you another, oh, that's not what I wanted, another very cool trick, okay, with the nines. We practice this a lot. Nines have a really cool pattern. The ones place goes down by 1 each row. The tens place goes up by 1 each row. Let me show you what I mean. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then, when you're looking at the tens place, this is technically a 0 because it's just 9 ones. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You can also do that. So now that you have this filled in, you can do that going across. So then we have 81, 72, 63, 54. We already have 45, 36, and if we check up here, 27. So this is like when you get to this spot, you have pretty much the entire thing filled in. If fours are tricky for you, or if any of the other ones are tricky, like sixes are kind of tricky. 8s are kind of tricky. 7s are kind of tricky. I actually call this square right here the most difficult square to fill in because it's 6 times 7 times 8. That's really the hardest one to fill in. But everyone can count on, right? If you know how to count on, that's all you have to do. Let's start here. 30, I see this is in the 6 rows. 30 plus 6. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Boom. This is 36. And if it works out correctly, look, 6 times 6 is 36. Now we just have to add on 6 more to get to this one. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. And then keep on adding 6 until you get there. 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Now you have the 6th row almost completely filled in. You can keep going here. 12 plus 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Or you can do the 3s down and you have it. Then you just have to keep on adding from here. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now you have the 6s, the row across, completely filled in. And if you want to, you could then fill in the 6s going down. Like you have these numbers. This is 24. So this is going to be 24. Keep on going until you have the whole chart filled in. Once they have the whole chart filled in, you can now use this. You have scratch paper. You have taken this information from your brain, put it on paper. You're not cheating. Like you had this in your brain. You just wrote it down in a nice organized fashion. Now you can use this. We practice using multiplication chart like all the time. And you know what? You can use it for division as well. I'm going to pause this so I can finish filling it in. And then I'm going to show you how you can use it. Okay, whole chart's filled in. Now you can use this to multiply. So if you are like a little bit stuck where you're like, oh man, I totally forgot what 6 times 7 is. 6. Okay, let's see. Let me go here, make sure I have that right. There we go. Here's 7. Here's 6. All you have to do is go across. Actually, we'll use a highlighter. There we go. Highlighter. Okay. 6. 7. Oh, the answer where they meet is 42. So 6 times 7 is 42. That's one of the hardest facts. Like, honestly, even for me, I have to be like, wait, 6, 12, 18. Like, I have to kind of skip count myself. Okay. You can also use this for division. It's pretty cool. So let's say you have the division problem, I don't know, 56 divided by 7. Okay. You find your quotient, or you find, sorry, your quotient. You find your dividend. You find like what you're going to be dividing into. Okay. 56 divided by 7. Here's 7. And then you just have to go up to find out what the quotient is. Oh, the answer is 8. So that is a way that you can use the multiplication chart. Like, you can make your own and then you can use it. Last thing I would say here is, if you want to put down any formulas or anything else that you're like, oh, I know that, I don't want to forget it. Area and perimeter are a big one. We know how to do it, but sometimes when you get into the test, it's like, oh, I forgot what to do for it. Very simple. We have talked about area equals length times width. I do the cursive L because otherwise it looks like a 1, and it's like, what? We're taking 1 times the width? That seems silly. Perimeter, you can think perimeter equals add all sides. So that way, when you get, oops, move that around. That way, when you get to the test and you're like, oh, it's a perimeter question, I forgot what it is, you can just look right here. That's right. Oh, we use area, we multiply perimeter and all the sides. You can also write other things down if you want to. If you're like, oh, I remember about like rhombuses or quadrilaterals. Like, if you want to write like quad equals 4, you can do that too. So this is just a way that the students, like, even before they start taking the test, it's a way that they can use the information that they have in their head, kind of get that energy out, get that information out, and then when they start taking the test, they're like, oh, I already know what I'm doing. I think they're going to do awesome. I am so proud of them, and I know that they are really going to do an awesome job. I'm really proud of them, and I cannot wait to see how they do and how they can show what they know, and make themselves proud. They should be really proud of all their hard work.